It's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and welcome back to my channel for another video hop with hashtag Let Us Start with Art. This one is all about making art that you can hang on the wall. So today I have I think it's a 4x4 deep canvas. Yeah, I think so. And I am going to do some mixed media on it. And I'm starting out with collage. I was collaging a neutral background, and I just used all kinds of things like scrapbook paper that has printing on it, old text paper, a few gel prints with those type of yellows, like some Naples yellow and black, some tea bag paper. I like to just save my tea bags and then I cut them open and take the the tea part out once they're dry. And then I use those in my art. They're really good connector pieces because they're very translucent and they just kind of have that yellowish color that you associate with old paper. And so if you've got maybe a transition from something really intense to something a little bit lighter, you can put that over. Works really good. A lot of this did get covered up because this ended up having a ton of layers. But if you look at it closer, you can still see some of it peeking through in areas. Sometimes people get really freaked out when you're doing mixed media and you put something down and then you cover it up with another layer. But that is the whole point of mixed media. It's layered. It's got lots of texture and, just different little goodies that you see when you go close up and you really take a good look at it instead of just, standing back and saying, oh, that's a dog. You look at it closely and you see all these little nuanced bits of text peeking through and a lot of texture and bumpiness if you feel it. It's a very interactive type of art, and that's the reason that I love it. So I'm just covering every little inch of this canvas from top to bottom and all around the sides with this neutral color paper. You guys know that I always use Liquitex matte gel medium. I like the thick gel from Liquitex. It doesn't say heavy gel, it's their gel medium. And I ran out right in the middle of this project as I was collaging all this stuff. There just was nothing left in the bottom of that container. So I got out a different brand. This one is Deco Art Gel, Matte Gel, and it comes in a little tube. So I just squeezed it onto my underpaper and continued on with my process. But it's a little bit different feeling. The thing that I like about gel medium is that it becomes tacky very quickly because it's already thick and it doesn't have a lot of water in it. Whereas like a fluid matte medium, I don't use those unless I'm doing something like tissue paper or napkin because it's just too fluid and it doesn't stick as fast. So this Deco Art one is somewhere in between. But I did end up finishing up all the collage, and now I've got out some Dina Wakley Media gloss spray, and this is manufactured by Ranger for Dina Wakley. And I think I have tangerine, olive, and some type of pink. Maybe it's magenta, but it's too light to be magenta, so I'm not sure. But anyway, she has her own colors. I've also got some turquoise or teal color. They're holding up pretty well. They're not clogging as fast as sometimes happens. It looks like I've got the night too, and I took the straw out of the night and just flicked it. Just adding some color to this neutral. I was planning on doing some what I call exclusion painting. Also, a lot of people call that reverse painting. And so I wanted to have some color on there so that it would show up whenever I painted out part of the background. I'm sorry I'm going off the camera here. I think that I had my camera angled incorrectly. I'm not sure. But anyway, sorry about that. But I do come back into screen here. I also took some of those Dina Wakley paints in her heavy body paint and did a little finger painting as well. So I think I've got that same pink, and then I've got a different green. It's a lime green. And I'm doing some splatters with that gloss spray with the turquoise color. was pretty happy with that. It's an interesting background, has a lot of dimension. I decided to do a little bit of stamping and realized pretty quickly that the way this canvas is constructed, there was a dip, and I didn't get some decent stamping going on, so I quit that pretty quickly. But I was using a permanent ink. It's Memento ink, um, from Sukaneko, I think. Then I decided, oh, well, I might want to put some little more bits on there. And these are like the leftover bits of die cuts. You know, when you make a die cut with a heavier paper, this is Bristol paper, and you weed it after you've taken it out of your machine, you end up getting all these little interesting leftovers. And they're fun. When you glue them down, they give you even more dimension because they are a thicker paper and they're raised up. So I'm gluing those down with that same matte medium that I have in the tube from DecoArt. And, you know, just different little shapes, grouping them together, making some interesting patterns with them. This was pretty fun. I did it with my fingers, so I ended up having layers and layers of glue on my fingers that I had to peel off later. But, you know, I do use Art Guard cream on my hands, and, you know, that makes it so it's not seeping into my skin, so I don't feel worried about using my hands in my art, because I do seal up my skin with that stuff before I start. At least I try to. Sometimes I forget, but most of the time I do. So then I took a little stencil. This one's been designed by Seth Apter. It's an ATC stencil, so there's 9 designs on the sheet, which I've cut up into ATC sizes. And it's from Stencil Girl Products. And I used some of that night colored paint. It's a dark, dark blue that I had in the splatters, and added a little bit more pattern. You know, this is just some mark making, some interest. Some of that doesn't show up either in the end. This one got worked a lot, a lot, a lot. It took a long time. That's the reason it speeded up so fast to 8 times fast, is because I think the project took like 3.5 hours. It shouldn't have taken that long. I just kept fussing. You know, sometimes you just fuss, right? I wanted to make a cute little dog. So I'm drawing onto the canvas using a Stabilo All pencil. Usually what we use Stabilo All pencil for is its highly water reactive properties. I blend it out and do shadowing and stuff with it. But on this sealed surface, I could easily draw. I could see what I was drawing because it's dark. And then I could erase with a baby wipe if I felt like I needed to reposition. So it works really well for this type of application as well. The reason it's called all is because it's supposed to be able to write on anything, including glass, metal. That's what it says. That's its description. So then I took some more of that dark blue paint and I mixed it with some glazing medium, and then I painted out the background. So that's the reverse painting or the exclusion painting, however you want to call it. And that makes the part that I left stand out from the background and be prominent, and kind of neutralizes what's left in the background. I did pat off some of the glazing paint with a baby wipe because I don't want to obliterate it. I don't want to completely get rid of all that interesting stuff that's in the background. I just want it to be pushed back. So that's what I did with the glazing. Then I took my Pentel pocket brush. This is an India ink brush that has little cartridges inside, and I love this brush. I just love it. And I put the black lines in so that they were permanent, because you know India ink, once it's dry it's permanent, because I knew I was going to do a little bit of dripping. And this is where it's just getting maybe a little bit over the top. Maybe I should stop doing all these different things. But I was just having so much fun. I got out some acrylic inks, um, some abstract brand from Sennelier acrylic ink, and I'm dripping that on, maybe spritzing it with a little bit of water, letting it run. And this is just so much fun that I don't want to stop. So I wanted to get, the reason I did this is because those little areas that I filled in with those pieces of Bristol paper, they stand out from the background. And so I wanted the drips to drip down in and around the cracks. I love that look. And that's what I was attempting to do here. What surprised me is that it just kept getting darker and darker. Like these are bright color inks. These are a fluorescent pink, an orange, a light blue. But by the time it was all dry, it was dark. And that fluorescent pink actually turned into red. You'll see, in the end product, it's not pink at all. It's red. I'm like, what the heck? So the reason that this has so many layers, which could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how your opinion of it, is that I just kept going trying to lighten it up. I wanted it to be lighter, and it got dark. And all the things I tried, it didn't get that much lighter. So in the end, I just decided to leave it the way it was because I couldn't get it that much lighter or brighter. But I actually like it. I like the way it turned out. So perhaps all the layers that I added, like right now I'm using the Neocolor 2 water soluble crayons and writing those on the canvas, trying to get some brighter colors to come in. But then I blend it with my blending tool just to make sure it's all blendy, and it fades too. It gets darker. So I was like, okay, well then I'll blend it with some white, titanium white, and watered down with a water brush. This is a fun technique. I usually use it for skin tones and things. And apparently my autofocus decided to go crazy there. I just noticed this. Sorry guys, I don't know what happened. Stupid autofocus. What's it doing? It's like, oh, in, out, in, out. Anyway, titanium white paint is opaque, right? We all know this. It's opaque. It covers up. So even by diluting it with water, I still ended up getting a lot more coverage than I felt comfortable with. My pretty bright colors that I wanted kind of faded a little bit, or lightened, went pastel is what they did. Because when you add white to something, it goes pastel. So still cute, still coming out more from the background with all this lighter color, but it wasn't what I was going for. Some days you just have that, right? You just have it. No matter what you do, and even if you're super experienced and you've done mixed media for years, you still have a day where you're just mad because the thing that's inside your head isn't coming out on the canvas. And you just keep pushing and pushing, and it still doesn't work sometimes. So that's, I'm not going to not love this piece because it didn't come out exactly the way I intended originally. I still love it. It's just not what I thought was in my head, and that I kept struggling to get it to be what I wanted in my head. And sometimes the art wants to be what it wants, and you don't have a lot of control over it. And this is one of those days. They took my control away. I'm not good with that. So then I'm doing some finger painting with some more of that white, trying to lighten up along the bridge of the nose and the tops of the ears where maybe some light was hitting. Just making it lighter and lighter. Lighter and lighter and lighter. Does really stand out from the background now, though. Then I was like, okay, splatters. What I need is splatters. So I added some white splatters. Maybe that'll lighten it up a little bit. I do love me some splatters on just about every single thing. Then I decided, okay, I'm going to bring some of the darker lines back because I covered them up with paint. So now I've got to touch them up. This always happens too. You think you're done and then you have to touch up. And I added in a few more lines where there weren't any before, and some maybe a little bit of mark making. I ended up doing some more mark making at some point. Oh, I got the Stabilo all back out, and I was doing some shading because I like shading. This will all be sealed it has already all been sealed, not now, but later, with 3 coats of UV protectant matte sealer. And that will stop any of this water soluble media that I'm using, which I'm now using the King Art gel sticks. Once again, trying to bring back the bright colors that I wanted originally. I just wanted it to be bright. Dang it. And blending those with my fingers. Those are pretty fun. I like to play with those anyway. Wanted to bring in some of the blue back, the turquoise blue color for, where it's a little bit shadier on the face. And I have that really light yellow one, trying to bring the muzzle out more. And I think I do all my finishing with the exception of a little bit of white and black at the very end with some mark making with these gel sticks. So what did we have? We started out with collage. Then we added some sprays. Then we added glazing. Then we added dripping. Then we added crayon and blended it with white paint. Then we added gel sticks. I mean, what are we on? 6 or 7 layers at this point? A lot of layers. But when you look at the end product in the close-ups at the end of the video, some of those areas where my favorite is where the little pieces of paper were glued down and then they got all kinds of different interesting stuff within them and in among them. And I really did like that part at the very end. So now I'm just making some silly little marks like dots and dashes and stars and those type of things with my white Posca pen. This is an acrylic paint pen, nice and opaque most of the time. In some cases it did draw in a little bit of the color and change a little bit, but that's fine. I don't really care. And I also get out the black. I add some whiskers. Got to have whiskers, right? I'm circling some of the shapes that are already there or adding my own shapes. This is a lot of fun. I could probably do it all day long. Just, little marks. I like little marks. I also am cleaning off my Posca pen frequently because I am picking up some of that gel stick paint stuff onto the tip of my pen as I'm going because it's not sealed. It's water soluble. It's still water soluble. So I don't know if I mentioned that this is a hop. If you've watched my video, then go down below the videos and check all the links for the other people who are participating. Remember, it's hashtag Let Us Start With Art, and it's all about things that you could hang on your wall. So this is one of those things you could hang on your wall. And all the other artists who are participating will have some as well. So be sure to go through, hop through, and give everyone thumbs up, leave them some comments, subscribe to their channel, do all those things for my channel too. And give everybody who is making this free content for you support here on YouTube. So I added a few more splatters with my Posca pen. I like to just flick it and let the paint fly out the end and get some really random splattery situations going on. That's fun. I probably filled in a little bit more with some more gel stick, it looks like. I guess I decided if that was going to be red, it might as well be red, where that fluorescent pink turned red for some reason. And I think I am almost done. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next month for the hashtag Let Us Start With Art on the first Friday of next month as well. And this will be going on all along of 2021. There's a video every month. So check them out. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.